Johnny McGonigal, Bob Flounders here. We just heard from a bunch of talented second-year Penn State players, some who played as true freshmen more than 4 games, some who were redshirted. Heard from James Franklin talking about the loss of Ja'Juan Seider, the hiring of Jim Knowles. Gave a shout-out to your Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, and that crew for winning. Congratulations, Johnny. But what stood out to you today?
Yeah, I think the confirmation of Ja'Juan Seider moving on as from Penn State to reportedly joining Notre Dame to be their new running backs coach after almost a decade here at Penn State, producing a lot of really good running backs. Nick Singleton and Katron Elliott included in that. Was able to talk to Quentin Martin after his freshman year, the talented running back from Bell Running, just about Seider's exit. And he was saying that, they were all surprised. They all respect and understand that he's got to do what he feels is best for his family. But Seider gave them a call to let them know what was going on. Said they were surprised, a little hurt, but understanding it is a loss for Penn State. And James Franklin, like the news about that was, him confirming that they're starting they've got to search for a new running backs coach after all these years. And so we'll see where James Franklin and this program ultimately, where they decide to go. But that's quite a bit of news today.
Yeah, and I think with Jim Knowles, I think there were some details that James shared. But it wasn't really quite the dumb deal that we thought it was when we thought it was. And actually, the contract and all that stuff didn't get taken care of till a little bit later, I think, than was originally reported. He also said, Johnny, that what really helped kind of fast track it was he had talked to him before, I think, about the position, and it kind of came together, and I think the comfort level was there, and they didn't really need as much time maybe to find line on him.
Yeah, and ultimately landing one of the best, not the best defensive coordinator in the country from Ohio State. James mentioned that, and there was some reporting around the national championship celebration party for Ohio State. Some people were saying that Jim Knowles didn't want to go. Some people were saying that he wanted to go and wasn't able to go. James backed him and said, look, he had all intentions of going. It just didn't work out that way ultimately. But, talking to some of those players in there, the younger, rising sophomores or redshirt freshmen for Penn State, they're excited about Jim Knowles and what he brings from a defensive standpoint, learning from one of the best. So, it's obviously a huge hire. We talked about it ad nauseum since he ultimately decided to come to Penn State. That recording, I think it was early on Super Bowl, not Super Bowl Sunday, NFC Championship, or it was a week before that. No, NFC Championship. AFC Championship. I'm putting this in Eagles terms, sorry. But big piece of news for Penn State, and we have a lot more coming, obviously, from those guys talking about it.
Good. So if you can tell, Johnny was celebrating a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's not a big deal. He's an Eagles fan. What do you think was going to happen?
It's Tuesday. We're good.
I understand it. We just got the chance to see a bunch of players that have already filled out quite a bit since arriving here. Some of them look really good. Some of them looked really good last year, but Cooper Cousins, Luke Reynolds were guys that I think Penn State fans know that they're going to play pretty quickly. Max Granville, you mentioned. Jalen Harvey's another guy. They got some corners they like, some young running backs they like, but I think when all is said and done, there's quite a few guys that are in that room right now that we're going to hear from sooner rather than later.
On the field especially. Tyser Denmark, and one to mention at wide receiver, a guy who picked up some snaps as the season progressed last year, but with Harrison Wallace and Amari Evans out the door, they're bringing in a couple of transfers, Devontae Ross and Kyron Hudson, but Denmark in his second season is one to watch. Guys that we talk to a lot, and guys you mentioned, Cooper Cousins. We're all talking to these guys for the first time. So you talked to some of them out the Fiesta Bowl, but Luke Reynolds, what he was talking about with Tyler Warren moving on and him being able to possibly step up into that role and become that next great tight end at Penn State. A lot of excitement there. A lot of excitement for Cooper Cousins, an interior offensive lineman who looks like he's 25, 26 years old. And he's going into a second season at Penn State. So a lot of talent in that room. And a lot of content, a lot of stories, a lot of interviews coming on PennLive a month.
Luke Reynolds was a pretty good player by the end of this past year. He's going to have a bigger role. And guys, I'm just going to say it again. I said it out at the Fiesta. Just a fantastic mullet. And I really want to credit him for that too. I think it's going to be something that Penn State fans are going to enjoy watching progress as well, as well as his development on the field.
I think you should grow one.